All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Always Almost There Live Day After Show. I'm Ryan.
I'm Brian.
And we're here, and we're talking about the second night of Atlanta, the Sunday show, the end of the first weekend of Fall Tour. Interesting show last night, to say the least, I think.
Yeah. 4 down, 14 to go. We're on a rare off night tonight. So, another good show last night. Another really strong set one. We'll get into the details. We got a couple special guests today who were at both these shows at the new Pullman Yards venue in Atlanta. So, really excited to hear kind of some insights into what the whole vibe was like there at this place, how the sound was and all that kind of stuff. So, good stuff. I'm already excited. It'll be nice to have a night off. Don't get me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But looking forward to tomorrow night. I mean, St. Louis, I feel like they bring the heat in St. Louis as well, but they bring the heat everywhere. So what are you going to do?
It's true. They do. And yes, as usual, before we jump into our full breakdown, a word from our sponsor, which is Vergio Wellness. Vergio Functional Mushrooms are here to help right now, whether you are gearing up for a show, going to sleep afterwards, or recovering and restoring the day after. With a wide range of health benefits, Vergio Mushrooms help you make the most out of the moment through the ancient healing properties in their highly potent fruiting bodies. The organic certified therapeutic potency and their planet positive refill system are two of the many standout reasons that Vergio is my choice supplement. Be clear, chill, balanced, energized, protected, focused, and calm in the moment with Vergio mushrooms. Use code STORMSOUND15 for 15% off your order, which ships anywhere in the US or Canada. Pretty cool.
Man, can't wait to get my mushrooms.
It's pretty cool stuff. They're good. All right. Well, it's just the two of us today. I don't know if we have as much, preamble to get through as when there's more. We can do our usual fantasy score update. I think you're slowly, coming back from your slow first couple of nights.
I'm making moves right now.
How many did you put up last night?
25. I think. And I mean, look, Wisteria and SOS were on my list too. So I was dialed in. You know what I mean? I can't help when we got these short sets and stuff. You know what I mean? They were aggressive with the setlist construction, so they had to make some cuts. And unfortunately, that was 8 points, 8 more points I could have had that got cut out. But that's the way it goes. Sometimes it works for you, sometimes it works against you. But yeah, I think I moved up about 36 places, so we're headed in the right direction.
Pretty good.
And lot of shows left. So
definitely.
You did well.
I did well. I went 7 for 8 last night. I'm pretty happy with that. I don't know if I've ever hit 7 songs before. Unfortunately, I didn't hit my 8-pointer, which was Jive 2. I was really hoping maybe we'd get that in the encore. But I'm happy with it. I'm doing consistently well. I hit 2 songs the first night, 3 songs the second, then 4, and then 7 last night. So naturally tomorrow night I'm going to hit all 8, based on the upward trajectory. But I'm looking forward to seeing, how this continues to play out as the rest of the tour unfolds.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, we continue to have strong involvement from the fantasy community. So that's just making it more difficult. Yeah, that's just making it more difficult. This thing isn't as easy to win way back like when Neil was winning it, when there was like 12 players. You know what I mean? Like, winning this year, and then as we move forward, I mean, I think that's where your true champions reside. But
Absolutely.
Anyway, hey, let's bring in our guests and get into this ATL Night 2 show.
Colin and Matt, how are you guys?
Great. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming on. Very excited to have you guys on. We didn't have a guest yesterday, and so we didn't get as much insight about the venue and the atmosphere at the show. Colin, why don't you go first? Just talk us through the venue a little bit, the vibe, what was going on last night.
Oh man, it was interesting. So I was in the back GA,
So we were interested in the sound and just the experience. But I think on the second night they had a better kind of flow to getting into the venue. The first night, like they didn't even scan our tickets or anything. They're having all sorts of problems. So probably got in line 5:30 or so, and we were able to get in. They had this like cool kind of like, I don't know, it was like a bullpen area, had a bunch of food vendors, this giant screen where if you were getting food or need to hit the bathroom, you could watch the show. And then that kind of holding area led into the main venue. So it was really cool how they had it split. So GA2 or whatever rear GA had kind of this whole area. There's a barrier that's like where Getty and Sam were kind of pushed up against. And then they had a separate area for VIP as well as the first GA. So I thought it was structured pretty nice. We were able to get in, get a spot right on that front rail in the back GA and settle in rather nicely. Matt, I'm not sure how your experience was, but at least like getting in and like experiencing things. They were showing like the movies that had been filmed there and just like all the history, which was cool, kind of just kick it before the show started.
Yeah, I think there was like kind of the backdrop of that being movie sets previously, and just kind of for us older people. Sorry, Ryan, you won't know, but back in the like 80s and 90s, it reminds me of these kind of warehouse district, factory district, kind of by the docks rave sites or places where even bands used to play in places like this. And I think I talked to a couple younger people who were like, "This is really cool," and I think they were seeing something maybe they hadn't seen before, seeing music in a place that they're not used to seeing it.
Right.
We're used to seeing music in much more antiseptic places, and I like that a lot. But there's something nice about, trying something different. So,
yeah, if you've never hung in the shady back dark corners of a warehouse rave, then
yeah, there you go.
It's probably good actually if you haven't.
That's good.
So the venue, that sounds pretty cool. I mean, I saw some pics of like the food truck area and things like that, and yeah, I mean that's awesome. It's almost like it's almost like a little bit of like a festival grounds type vibe, not just you line up outside, then you go in the doors, and now you're inside this building, for the show.
Yeah. I mean, I think, Colin, as you mentioned, the first night was kind of a shit show. Are we allowed to curse on Always Almost There?
Yes.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. As you mentioned, I mean, we got in line. I mean, the line was insane. I'm like, this is not good, but it moved. Security was really easy, and like you said, the second night my understanding is they were basically field testing this place. Dispatch maybe had played there once before, but we were all the guinea pigs. Goose was guinea pigs for this place. This wasn't designed for this. So, I mean, as far as getting in and stuff, that's something they're going to have to work out over time. I think for people who wanted a little more amenities and kind of, seats and a place built for more sound, that wasn't the place. But you could find spots. We found spots up front on the left, Trevor side, that had really good sound. But it depended where you were. It's a big cavernous old building, and it's not designed for that. So
right. So I heard some people were posting that the sound really was kind of echoey and not great on the first night. Did it get better last night?
Colin, do you want to feel this? I can.
Yeah, I didn't. Where we were kind of towards the back, we didn't really have any major problems with sound. At one point, like something that stuck out was like Jeff was a little off and on the first night and the start of the second set, but that was the only thing that really stuck out. Like the rest of the time seemed pretty dialed in.
Awesome.
Yeah, I thought first we had VIP, which was kind of useless. And I was talking to someone after the show about like, should we do this VIP? Should we not? Like, we're weighing these things as people start to go and travel and see shows, and it's totally dependent on the venue. It's not necessary. It's not entirely a Goose cultivated experience. It's the venue has a lot of say in the promoter and all that things. So in this case, no, it wasn't worth it. But in other cases, it might be. I spent most of both shows up on Trevor's side, pretty close, and the sound was good. that was considered front GA. There was a lot of room, kind of all the way over on the left side where you still got good visuals. And Peter was good in the mix there. And it's hard for me and my friends. Once we found dialed in sound, you don't want to lose that spot because you just
right.
And if there's a little bit of partial obstruction, that's fine. We went to VIP for a bit the first night, and the sound was bad, so we went right back there. Second set last night, we went to VIP, and the sound was much better. So I don't know if that was by design. It could be anything. I don't want to speculate, but and there was quite a bit of room in VIP to kind of move around. So I could see the appeal for some people, but really, I like being on Trevor's side better for this thing.
Yeah, and I'm sure the band got feedback. I'm sure Sam and everybody got feedback during and after night one. Another day to sound check. So yeah, I would expect night two just about everywhere to sound at least a little bit better than night one. So all right, cool. Well, yeah, I mean, it sounds like a cool place. We'll see what happens. I feel like the place. Oh shit! I'm spacing on the name of the place they played at last year in Atlanta. Yeah, because isn't the Eastern pretty new?
I thought it was, and it looked like a cool venue.
Yeah, so I was a little surprised that they didn't go back there, but I mean, who knows? The place might be booked. Well, cool. Well, hey, let's dig into the show, boys. So, we got the big Flea Opener last night, which is always welcome. Love it as an opener, of course, and nice. We always talk about this with really Flea in general, but especially early set one Fleas. Just feels like it gives them a nice opportunity to go, spread their wings, so to speak, and
stretch their legs.
Just like slide into the night, on a nice easy, in a nice easy kind of jam space. So this was another one of those, kind of. Nice. I think it went for about 13 minutes I had. So, not super lengthy, but just another nice Flea jam.
Punchy.
What'd you guys think?
Well, I really like it. I really like Flea. A lot of normies, are like, oh, that's got those crazy lyrics and it's stupid and that's a good song. I love Flea, and I love the outro lick in Flea. It's just like classic Goose. It almost makes me feel like the Momo lick from another band in a weird way. And just kind of an iconic lick. And so, I don't know. It's just a great opener. I was so happy. The jam was punchy and nice. And give me a Flea opener at any time. I'm down.
Hot take here from Noah, one of his favorite Fleas ever.
Oh, cool.
We do know that Noah does have a really good time at shows, though. So that may. I've noticed
that
his judgment.
Shows, yeah.
Colin, what did you think of the Flea opener?
Yeah, great energy. We had a bunch of folks around us. That was the first time seeing Goose, and they were a little concerned that Arcadia was played, some of the Slow Ready the night before, so they weren't sure what to expect, and got a good pop. And then I thought the jam was awesome. I had noted down just double drums, and that really seemed to set the tone for at least the first set last night. Just get things off and running. It was a much more relaxed crowd last night. I would say compared to Saturday, but the Flea, the Flea really got it off.
Awesome. Yeah, I thought it was a nice, concise opener, as Brian said. Gives the band an opportunity to just stretch their legs right out of the gate. So I thought it was good. And then we got Indian River next. This was the first time that we got the Delta-ish jam on the back end of the 80s synth, if you will, Indian River. I've kind of named all of the different versions as best I can. But, another, I think, kind of similar to Flea, where they just kind of take the opportunity, hang out in the groove a little, stretch their legs a little more. I think sometimes it can go on a little long. Last night was around 15 minutes, I think. But I don't know how I feel about the Delta-ish with this version of Indian River. I think it works better coming after the original arrangement of the song. I think it's much more of a contrast with the one that they played last night. But I think it worked. Colin, what did you think of this?
Yeah, I had noted down just that like Rick seemed really into it. He was just like really bouncy during that one, and like to your point, like it sounded the Welcome to Delta portion just seemed completely separate and not as fluid as it typically is from the other variations of Indian River.
Yeah. It's like two pieces, like you said, rather than something that seemed to necessarily join together organically. I still loved it. I never really liked the intro to Indian River. And so I like the way they're doing it now. And, even if the jam's kind of tacked on and you're right, it was not that organic. I don't know. I enjoyed it. I thought it was the whole set this first set was really good. And that was, up there with the rest of the set. So yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah. I mean, this, when they get with Indian River, it's like, you never know what you're going to get. You might get the extra jam, you might not. So when they dropped in that extra jam, I'm kind of with Ryan on it. You know what I mean? It's like, I like it, but when it gets to be 18, 20 minutes, there's been a couple where I've been like, all right, boys, let's check our watches. You know what I mean? Cause we got to move on. But so I'll just move forward from there. So then you get the California Magic.
Yeah.
Which
always great.
Yeah, always great. And I think we were kind of wondering, we figured it was on deck, and we get it at any moment.
It's a good Sunday first set song. I think it's the right vibe.
Yeah. I mean, I'll take it any day of the week, but
it's become a little polarizing, actually. Like
interesting,
which is crazy.
I noticed online and my friends, one of my friends is starting not to really care for it. I've read some other things where people are now, like one of the guys I was with, I like it. And it had been on ice for 8 or 9 shows. So we're kind of like, wow, it needs to come. I don't know. I like it, but it doesn't seem to be uniformly adored by.
Yeah.
Which is surprising because it's such an awesome song.
It's a cool song.
Yeah, I love
I was belting out the lyrics. Chevrolet Impala. I mean, they're great lyrics.
Yeah, it's just like fun, like fun lyrics, but still kind of like, poetic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like not just, not like Yeti fun. You know what I mean? Like California Magic is, I mean, it's these are good lyrics. I mean, look, I think it's a phenomenal song.
Yeah.
I really, really like it. And then we got the No Rain, which we talked about with Noah the other day. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, the band gets together, I think, and watches the pod some days, and so they felt bad for Noah, and wanted to give him that No Rain to complete his experience. No, I'm kidding, but it does make you wonder. You know what I mean? Because we did just talk about that with Noah.
2 days in a row we talked about No Rain. So,
but so the No Rain, it's kind of like you're probably gonna get a nice jam here. And so my first thought, even before that jam, was, wow, that 4 songs, 3 jammers coming out, so, things were, this set was shaping up to be really, really strong, right out of the gate. And yeah, the No Rain jam, I mean, as long as I'm talking about it, I'll just wrap up my thoughts. Just a beautiful jam. I feel like, they started with the Rosewood, in Richmond, and it seems like they're really carving out these just beautiful pieces, and it's not just like straight bliss, or I mean, it's real patient. People are they're giving each other room, and it's, I mean, the beauty coming from some of these recent jams has been astounding to me, and I love it, and I hope we see I hope this is a theme that we kind of continue to see. But yeah, awesome No Rain. I was kind of in that camp where it's like, oh man, I could have taken even more of that. They could have kept that going for another 4 or 5 minutes, and I wouldn't have complained. But how was it at the show? Start with you, Colin. I mean, what was the vibe like during No Rain?
Yeah, you hit on a couple things, like just the patience, and then kind of that full band jam, like that whole experience, not just like necessarily relying on Rick to carry it. I mean, people were going kind of crazy around us. The great cover choice for just the mix of crowd, and then on top of that, just like the jam itself, the build, and just that kind of teamwork that we love to see.
Matt, what about you?
It was awesome. I mean, that's a cover that I think a lot of people are chasing or would chase or want to get. And they're playing it like every 50 songs or something like that.
Yeah, it was 54 shows since the last.
Some of these covers are not, you guys were talking about Electric Avenue the other night, kind of overplayed maybe, but it's still like every 18 shows. So it's cool to get these.
We're going to talk about that again today.
Okay. So
we'll get there later in the show.
No Rain's amazing. Everyone knows all the words. It's like for me, it's a song of like college of youth. For other people, it's just it's just beautiful. It's such a great song. They do such a great job with it. I felt like they were going to bring it, and they did bring it. They didn't squander the opportunity. They'll play it again in 2023, and they didn't just give us an 8-minute perfunctory version and say, "Here, Noah, fine."
Hey, what? We can hope. We can hope that there will be another one before the end of the year.
Yeah. So Noah, thank you. Appreciate it. You manifest, and thank you guys. You all made it happen. And
the pod delivers.
The pod was a joke. Noah confirmed that he asked Ben, and Rick said, "Yeah, try again in 100 shows." So it's I like that. I like that. They're going to give it back a little bit to these guys like Noah that are always probably. Asking for stuff, you know what I mean? Just the entitlement from some of these rail folks, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And the thing is I had to endure American Woman in Pittsburgh. So this was like, this was a nice
story as well.
Return favor. I mean, I had to get a second set American Woman. So this is
that's on me.
Okay. So
I want to talk about the No Rain.
Oh yeah. I was going to say, so Ryan, let's hear your thoughts.
Yeah. I love this cover. Again, we've been talking about it. I think not just the last couple of days on the live pod, but just in general for like months. We wish this cover would get more play, especially after how good the version in Bend was in February. And so I'm really happy we got another great jam out of it. As Brian said, could have definitely enjoyed that going on for even longer. And they're definitely focusing more on those more major key, beautiful jams. As opposed to the darker jams that have been, kind of the forefront of where they're trying to push jams for most of this year. So I'm interested to see as the tour progresses, with 14 more shows or however many more shows we have.
Well, let me just say one more thing about No Rain. I mean, No Rain just has an incredibly high slugging percentage. And so, I mean, you have to start thinking on some of this stuff. It's a Hall of Fame cover. You know what I mean? They hold it back. You know what I mean? It's not overplayed.
Yeah.
And when they do drop it, they don't miss.
They make it count.
Yeah. So just love it. Yeah. Really looking forward to, I know I did some re-listening on the, of the stream. But really looking forward to these soundboards because there's definitely this whole first set. And so, let's finish it up with the Redbird. Felt like, so I felt like Redbird and Rockdale was just free money last night. I just kind of felt like those were guaranteed. Was really psyched to get the Redbird, in the first set. Which is where, we got the Pittsburgh, and then the Philly night 2. So two really classic Redbirds, to call a song classic that just debuted this year, but both first set closers. So so anyway, late first set. We didn't know if it was going to close, but was super psyched to see this come out. I'm imagining that the place got pretty fired up when when Peter kind of went into Redbird. Was there
straight burden?
You guys got to tell us. Was there a lot of straight burden happening in the crowd, or has that died down?
Colin?
Not by us. I mean, I turned my buddy Graham and we went at it and had a lot of fun. But around us we had kind of first timers, which was cool.
Were they looking at you funny or?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's all part of straight burden, by the way. I mean, you're gonna get some funny looks.
Yeah, everyone will get it eventually. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, same. I mean, there were a lot of, I don't know about the word normies or whatever, but the first night when we went there, we're like, wow, there's a lot of people who are probably seeing Goose for the first time. And they're going to be blown away, and this is great. And I feel like people were. For Redbird in my area, I didn't see too many people straight burden. Maybe they heard the song, maybe they didn't. But as soon as the red lights went down on Peter, my buddy's like, and of course I did Rick's part. We all end up doing Rick's part. Nobody does Peter's part anymore.
Rick's part, you just kind of
you
just kind of latch onto it.
So
nobody's doing Jeff's part either, I guess.
No, Jeff's little. No, somebody was doing Jeff's part. He just like says what Redbird here and there a few times.
When it's time.
He just does the when it's time over and over.
Right.
When it's time, man. Yeah. I really liked the jam that they got into out of this. It definitely, as you guys mentioned, it felt like they kind of cut it off a little bit premature here. They started going into that, like, it sounded like they might be segueing into a different song, but it was just them, switching gears and getting into a different jam. And so I really would have liked to see them explore that for a few more minutes before closing the set for sure. Even maybe closing the set with Rockdale there, as was supposed to be on the set list. But still a really, really strong Redbird. I've seen some people throwing around that, like, better than Philly, better than Pittsburgh, better than Asheville. I don't know if I'll go that far. I won't go that far. But still a pretty strong version and a strong way to close out the first set. And then
I need to I was just saying, I need to give it more listens. I mean, I listened to it after the show. That was kind of the one thing I went back to after the show last night, gave that another listen. And then I listened to the whole first set a couple times this morning. And yeah, but I feel like I need to hear it more. Like it's, there's something about it. You know what I mean? It's in that area where it's, sometimes you're just like, like Pittsburgh, it's just like, oh, well, holy shit. You know what I mean? This is just a beast. You know what I mean? But sometimes it's like, it grows more, slowly on you. And like, you know what I mean? Like it just, gets better. It ages well or something. You know what I mean? So that's where I'm at with this one. Can't make any hasty ranks at this point. Just kind of got to settle in with it a little bit more. There's something unique about it, for sure. And the other interesting thing was it felt a little bit like towards the end, like Rick kind of didn't want to end it. Maybe he was kind of trying to keep things going. The band was kind of taking it down. And then they kept it going, but I feel like it never really went much further, after that. And so, and then, then they made the decision, like we've talked about, to end the set there. I think they were just at that awkward time, you know what I mean? Where, it's like, do you squeeze another one in? But then you're really going to shorten up that second set. The curfew was earlier last night. So, I mean, they probably made the right call, ending it there.
Yeah.
Maybe they felt, I don't know. I don't know if they felt rushed because they thought they might get another song in, or, because maybe they could have taken another couple minutes. I don't know. We always speculate about that kind of thing. At the end of the day, it's a great version of a great song.
Yeah.
And it capped off a really, really strong first set. But both ATL set ones were really, really strong, I thought. Super happy with the set ones. Any final set one thoughts
before we move on?
I thought it was a really, really good set. I could tell they were in no man's land when they finished Redbird. Like, what do we do? Do we play another song? Do we stop? Peter and Nick had a very kind of obvious moment of like, and Peter said, because it was a little awkward. It's like, do you slam on the brakes at the red light, or you just go right through? So I thought it was a really good set, excellent set. I can't wait to listen to the Redbird again. I thought the Redbird was really good. And I can't put my finger on it, and I kind of want to listen to it again to see kind of what I remember. But I thought coming out of that set, I thought the set was killer.
Yeah, likewise. I thought that Redbird just had distinct themes, and then it had a note here that just went like really dancey, and that to really match that like rave scene vibe, which was really cool.
Yeah. All right, and then we opened the second set up with that Rockdale. On the original written set list, Seekers and Rockdale were supposed to come after Redbird to close the first set, which as we've seen, they do sometimes have some ambitious set list picks. Thinking they're going to get through more songs than they actually do. So looking at those songs, I don't know if realistically there was going to be a time frame for them to get through Seekers and Rockdale after Redbird, because that's another theoretically 30 minutes of songs, almost. So interesting. But Rockdale, always phenomenal as a second set opener. Really works. Crowd seemed to be getting amped on the webcast. Nice little jam in this one, as Rockdale tends to do. But I thought it was a great opener. I love Rockdale anywhere in a show, honestly. What did you think, Matt?
Like I make fun of Rockdale a lot, but that's I actually like Rockdale, and I thought it was a good opener. I kind of got caught in between being something and not really being anything. That's the way I at least felt at the time.
Yeah.
It kind of hit that, maybe 13, 14 minutes.
Yeah. I
wasn't really sure what they were going to do with it. They went back into it, obviously, and it's always kind of triumphant at the end there. It didn't really make a big impact on me, but the crowd really likes it, and Rockdale's just, something people really have taken to Rockdale. I feel like. Crowds.
Yeah, second that. The group there, the area that we were in, like there was a lot of like cheering during the Rockdale jam, and even just before they go back into it. It seemed to really get people energized, get them stoked for the second set.
Brian, Rockdale?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, like I was saying earlier, I mean, I was fully expecting this. So love it as a set 2 opener as well. And I mean, you make a good point, Matt. It's like, you just have to still wonder about the timings, like how much. Now they're trying to squeeze, they had to cut some stuff. Now they're trying to squeeze, everything into this set 2 with the remaining time they have. So it's I don't mind that. I don't mind that kind of short and sweet version though. I mean, it's still such a great song. I love the vocal refrain that they come back into, at the end. So always happy to see it. I think that, obviously, like you mentioned, Ryan, I mean, they flipped the Seekers and the Rockdale. And I mean, it's like, I don't want to Monday morning quarterback this stuff every day, but I just wonder what does that conversation at set break look like? It's like, okay, boys, we can't play everything. You know what I mean? So do we keep Yeti pumped up kicks,
and fifth of Beethoven,
Seekers, Beethoven, or do we keep Wisteria and same old shenanigans? So, I mean, look, I'm not shy to say that I think Wisteria is one of their best songs, one of my favorite songs. Really kind of thought that was coming last night as well. Just felt like, it felt like Sunday night capping off this 4-night run. That felt like one of the real heavy hitters. I guess Wisteria and Redbird were kind of the heavy hitter jams that I kind of thought we'd be getting. So, I mean, Seekers, we talk about all the time. I feel like they had it in the right spot. You know what I mean?
Yeah, on the set list originally, it was that late set 1
I'm always saying
Seekers.
That penultimate set 1 slot. Like that's just, man, that's such a good place for Seekers, because it's Seekers 1 is a it's a set 1 song. You know what I mean? It tells a nice story. It's got a nice easygoing groove to it. And then part 2 just, drops the hammer with the powerful jam. So it feels really good in that spot. You know what I mean? And then boom, you close the set out with Redbird or whatever. Yeah. Seekers, Redbird. I mean, that would have been nice. So anyway, so we get the set 2, Seekers in that placement. So standard versions, you know what I mean? So it's always, you kind of know what you're getting with Seekers. And then I'm just gonna run through the set list real quick. So then we got the Yeti, nice segue into Pumped Up Kicks, back into Yeti to finish it off. Fifth of Beethoven, and then closed the set with Fifth of Beethoven and Arise. And then we got the Echo Encore. So yeah, I mean, what were you guys' thoughts as the set started to move into Seekers, Yeti? Where was the vibe for you guys? Place looked like it was, going nuts and enjoying themselves. So you can't knock the hustle.
Colin, why don't you go first for this one?
Yeah, Colin, go ahead.
Oh yeah, for sure. So I mean, Seekers, standard versions, high energy there, and then Yeti. I mean, that's always a crowd pleaser. I thought the lights for Yeti really like hammered that home. In terms of like using the larger stage and just the venue as a whole there. And then it took that out for a spin. I thought that was cool. And then you just heard the opening notes or the alluding to Pumped Up Kicks. And I mean, again, another kind of crowd pleaser there. Lots of folks involved, kind of just going crazy for that one. And then they brought it back together with the end of Yeti. So that section I thought was really high energy for a Sunday show.
Yeah, I part of me's in the moment and trying to stay in the moment and just enjoy myself. And then at the same time, what I'm thinking is, when is Wisteria coming? Like, the one part of me in my head is like, okay, Seekers will be like 12 minutes. When do we have time for this? When do we, I really wanted Wisteria, and I was kind of, my head was like, are they going to really jam this set, or like what direction is it going in? But I love Seekers, and it brought the solo in Seekers 2 brings the house down every time. And I know we're going to circle back to Yeti, but I didn't think I'd ever say Yeti would be the highlight of a set, but I really like Yeti Pumped Up Kicks Yeti, and that was my first Pumped Up Kicks, and that was really, really cool. I mean, that was a really cool 20 minutes or whatever it was. And I feel like the place was just all in on that. And so it was really cool. That's, I haven't listened to it back, obviously, yet, but I dug it.
No, it seemed like a segment that, would have absolutely killed live. And they did, I think they extended that kind of the first Yeti segment a little bit more than they normally would have before throwing in the kicks there. But I think, coming in the first set, a segment like that would be better. I think that the way they took the second set, there was basically no improv in between Rockdale and Echo. I think, when they played the Echo and the Encore, and it was like a great 15-minute version that went places, I was like, okay, like this is, more along the lines of what we may have been looking for in set 2. And yes, we didn't get that Wisteria that they were planning on. One thing I saw that was really interesting was Noah had posted a picture after the show with like a typed up set list for the second set that they had redone at set break, which switched from having like Wisteria, Echo, SOS, whatever, which was on the written one, and switched to exactly what we got last night. So, Brian, you mentioned earlier, like, I wonder what conversation they're having at set break. And I'm wondering what kind of conversation they had where they landed on like, we're going to go on the full party, set and close with a Rise instead of, Wisteria, Echo, stuff like that. I'm glad we did get the Echo and the Encore, though. That was a great pick. Nice spot for it. Echo, like Rockdale, is another song that I think works any possible slot in a show. I like Arise. Not so keen on it being the second set closer, I think. It's a really, really, really lovely ballad. But I think it's better either first set or, after a big jam in the second set. Fifth of Beethoven, that is one of those more rarely played covers. I think it's averaging about once a year. It was played end of January. It was played last June, or last year, like June 2021. And then the Dave Grippo show 2 years ago. I think that also it worked with the vibe that they were doing in the set, but still not necessarily what I'm looking for late set 2, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it felt like a little bit of a kind of like a 2019 set. You know what I mean? Which is, which is a little bit more of a bar, like almost like a bar set. You know what I mean? And look, I'll preface this by before I give my jaded, fucking opinions on this stuff. I mean, look, this is why we talk to the people that were there, because the people that are there are often going to tell you, no matter what you think of the set list or the energy on your couch that night, generally people are saying, oh yeah, dude, the place was fucking lit. People were going down on Pumped Up Kicks. You know what I mean? And so they're doing something right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now I will also say though, and this has been my thought for a while, is that I think things like set list construction, song selection, I do think there's some opportunities there to continue to kind of grow into the band that's playing, multi-night runs at these bigger venues where, as your fan base grows, you're kind of servicing, oh yeah, you're always going to have a lot of new people because there's a buzz and that's not letting up. But, new people breed, vets, in time too. So you've also got those people that contingent is growing, right? I mean, the contingent of people that have now been listening to the band for 3-4 years is growing. And so, like I said, I mean, they're doing something right. So I don't mean it as a criticism, but yeah, I mean, sometimes I feel like, when we're getting 2 and 3 covers consistently, I wonder if there are opportunities there to play more of these newer songs. And I also get that, yeah, you want gaps because you don't want to play everything so often and this and that. But I mean, we've got there's a lot of songs like, I mean, that are consistently on 8, 9, 10, 11 show gaps. Mm-hmm. And that's shit like Jive 2.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And again, I mean, yeah, sometimes you're going to shelf things for a little while at a time, then you're going to bring it back and, and play it more. Elizabeth was getting played every other show, it seemed like, at the beginning of the year, and now they've backed up. So it ebbs and flows, I get all that. But yeah, I felt like last night was that set 2 was a little bit of a missed opportunity to fucking blow it out of the water, especially after that big set 1. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that's what they were intending to do with that SOS and Wisteria, especially. So to drop those in favor of, Fit the Beethoven and things like that, it just, but that's all personal. That's, I need to come to terms with that myself in my own time. I choose what I listen to on Nugs. So, but anyway, you get the point.
Yeah. It seemed like the crowd and the band were all having a blast, like last night. Yeah. At the end of the day, everyone having a great time.
Yeah.
That's incredibly important.
And that's what Kev would say is as long as everybody has fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I think they're playing for probably a lot of different reasons. They're playing to the crowd in the moment. They're playing kind of to the greater Goose community, to themselves, to, I don't want to get inside their heads other than maybe what they've said, in interviews or things like that. But, I've always said, like, you don't have to play, and I don't want to say they played down. Like, I have the friends I went to really, really like that I went to the show with last night, really like that second set, even though there wasn't a lot of deep improv and it didn't kind of get out of line. They really liked it, and I liked it too. I got to be honest. The only thing I'll say is if a band plays their best material, their elite material, goes deep, the crowd is still going to love it. Everybody's still going to love it. So you don't ever have to really play down to the crowd. And I don't want to say they did that. I don't think they did. They played at a really high level. But at the same time, don't give the crowd credit. Like, if you drop a crazy 25-minute Wisteria that just goes evil, they're going to love it. You can do it. Don't be afraid. Don't say this crowd's going to get into, Fifth of Beethoven. We don't have to do that. And, I don't want to put, try to get inside their heads, but at the same time, give everyone the goods. People will love it. The crowd would have loved it. But not to ramble on, but one thing. If a Beethoven was kind of that's when I realized it kind of, in a way, even though I really enjoyed the set. After kind of Pumped Up Kicks, Yeti, you're just doing another dance song. And I wasn't really sure what the point was of throwing that in after a 20-minute Yeti Pumped Up Kicks Yeti, just to keep the same kind of light, dancey. It would have been a good time to just, I don't know, play Wisteria, play Echo, play, something. But anyway, so all three covers last night that I were new. I hadn't seen any of them, and two I really was psyched to see, and one a year is good, I think, between and you were saying if the Beethoven. A year off, they could do another year off. My opinion.
Yeah, Colin, your final thoughts on last night?
Set one, just really enjoyed that, and then set two kind of went the more dancier route, which I mean it was a blast in there, but I mean good on them for capping it off with that Echo. I think that sent everyone home happy.
This is really funny. Jackson Gilbert says he decided a group who thought the Fifth of Beethoven was the NFL Sunday night theme, and they kept screaming football.
That's funny.
Well played.
I just want to say something quickly about Arise. I caught the debut, maybe not the debut, but I caught the one in Philly, which I don't think they played it, maybe but once since then.
This is the first one since Philly.
Okay, thank you. And I know they closed with 726 in, I think it was Portland, in August. And I'm like, this idea, and I think they were going to close with Silver Rising the other night. And this idea of closing with a big ballad, I kind of like it if they can pull it off. I kind of like the idea. I really liked Arise. I really thought it was awesome. My buddy was mentioning, oh no, it's an acoustic. They should really stick to, or Rebelo should be playing it. But I loved it. I really loved Arise, and I love that they closed with it.
It's the best version they've played of that song for sure.
Okay.
No. Yeah, really liked it. That's last night. Thank you, Matt and Colin. Really appreciate you guys coming on today, giving us a little firsthand insight of the show. Glad you guys had a blast, and we hope to have you on again soon. Yeah.
Thanks, fellas. Safe travels, Colin.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah, solid show for sure. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing where they go, the rest of the week, the rest of the tour. I see them in 5 days now. So very much looking forward to that.
Yeah, dude, you're psyched. Yeah, man, it's like a pretty good start to the run, I feel like. I mean, I feel like in those 4 shows, even though I don't ever think anything is perfect. So put that to the side.
Except for Philly Night 2.
Some good. Philly Night 2 is pretty close to perfect. But I feel like we got some. I feel like it's important for me to note that we got some really strong jams out of those first 4 nights. So a lot of replayability, in my opinion, that I'm going to be happy to continue to dig into and see where the chips fall on some of these big jams. But like we said at the beginning, I mean, super psyched for tomorrow night. So ready for a really short break. A 1-night break is kind of perfect, and then ready to get after it again tomorrow. So
if anybody watching right now, if you or listening later, if you are going to St. Louis or New Orleans later this week and you would like to be a guest on the pod, we need to fill some spots here. So please shoot us a DM on social media, shoot us an email, aat.com. Let us know. We would love to have you on. We're very excited. I think, I can't speak for you, but I'm having a great time doing this every day. I love having the opportunity to talk to other people about the show, and not just text about it all the time. It's nice to do this.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good to have some fresh voices and some fresh perspectives on you for sure. So yeah, having a blast. Looking forward to seeing y'all again in a couple days.
So we will be back on Wednesday at 3 o'clock Eastern. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to this episode of Day After Show.